Okay.
Perfect. Great. So for this bit, you can either keep your cameras on or off. Make sure your mics are muted. So as you may have noticed, we have Sid joining us for this session. And Sid and I have been working a while now on this sense of dance, the inner dance. And one of the P's of self is playfulness. And one of the things, one of the ingredients that these parts, or some of our parts, missed out on was indeed playfulness. That sense of ease, carefree playfulness, moving through world with a sense of skip and a hop. And so this is kind of about bringing ourselves back to that sense of how does it feel to dance. Now, when Sid and I talk about dance, it doesn't necessarily have to be the body. By all means, the body's welcome to move and explore. And if you find yourself that your hands or shoulders or the hips want to move, or you want to stand up from your chair and really explore how the body wants to move intuitively with whatever is unfolding moment by moment, then by all means, you're more than welcome. But dance can be an internal dance. So watching and really discerning and being a witness to this interplay. And again, playfulness. So the invitation is to allow the parts to be led by the essence of self and to start from the inner and outer, if that's how it lands for you. And then you can oscillate back. You can dance in infinity loops where the inner world comes out into the outer world through the body, and the outer world then feeds back into the inner world. And you have this yummy infinity loop. And it can also be a yin and yang sign, the inner and the outer. And sometimes working with the breath can really help. You can breathe in the outer world and then breathe out the inner world, and watching how that merges. And the dance that I love to focus on is the lila, the divine dance or the sacred dance. So this is how this meditation is going to go. And Sid and I haven't planned this. We don't, or at least I don't feel that planning is necessary here. So see if you can let yourself just be drawn in by that intuitive pull of the parts wanting to play and explore. So just notice, and Sid has really led us into here. He's really paved the way for intuitive witnessing and exploring and observing what is here present for us. Just notice how your body is. And again, there's no right way to be a human. There's no one correct, precise way. Whatever you're doing right now is just right, is just perfect for you, for your parts. So just tune in with that sense of your body here and take up a position that feels right. Notice just a very brief scan from the top of your head down to the floor. Just notice what's present. And allowing yourself to really breathe. And as you breathe in, imagine the air, the presence, the energy of the room mixing in with the inner world. And then as you breathe out, the inner world merging with the essence of the room. You have this unbroken chain. Why do we explore these parts through the body? What's the benefit here, you might ask? And oftentimes there can be parts that are very intellectual, that really understand the concept of IFS. You know, they've got the notebooks ready, the checkbox, everything's ticked off. And despite all the intellectual knowing, we still find ourselves being thrown about by various parts, or the parts still slide into the driving seat. Why is that? A part of you might feel, I've been doing IFS for 2 years, for 4 years, for 8 years, for 20 years, and I'm still at the mercy of these younger parts of myself. And one of the reasons for that could be that it hasn't been taken into yourself. It hasn't been integrated into the body. And the body has a memory of its own. The body has a wisdom of its own. The body can very much act on autopilot. And sometimes we can find ourselves reacting from a part whilst we're witnessing it, but seemingly we don't have the capacity to stop ourselves. It's like a one-way track. Why do I keep ending up in the same place? And it's because the body has its own way of being. And so the dance piece helps us to embody these parts, to explore, to be playful, and to potentially rewire not only the aspects of the brain, but to rewire the way the body reacts and responds in certain situations. We're coming up to one of the most tender times of the year. Christmas is very tender time for a lot of our parts. And this is very tricky to navigate for some of our parts. So we may find that we're inadvertently, when we're at the dinner table with our family, with our closest, no matter how much work we've done, we may find ourselves knee-jerking, going into fight or flight. So this is just a little taster of how would it be to embody more of that richness of self, more of the compassion of self, and then allow self to be the dance floor for these parts on the inside, and then we can reflect that on the outside. So it becomes an outer dance floor as well. Everything is just a classroom here. We're just rehearsing and really getting ourselves ready for when that crunch time comes, when someone triggers us. This is a space for us to play and explore with these different parts. Mm-hmm. So Sid and I have both facilitated dances previously. I've facilitated an ecstatic dance for the past 5 years, both DJ'd and held space. And I've been dancing 5 rhythms and ecstatic dance for the past 10 years. So this bodily work for me feels very native. And I'd really love for you to experience this yumminess, this goodness of self that is here for you, that's always here. So we've prepared a couple of tracks, or a few tracks each. And I felt to prepare the scene by inviting or fully tuning into self. And I've prepared a beautiful track, one of my favorite tracks. So I'll play the track. It's about 6 minutes long, and then I'll just ever so gently navigate and facilitate over the top of that track. Hopefully the volumes of the music and the voice will be just right. So see how it feels. Take a lovely breath, nourishing, taking the outer in, the inner out, and noticing that loop that goes on, that unfolds moment by moment. And before I dive into the first song, which is sort of a welcome song for self, I just want to ask whether Sid has anything else to add here.
No, I loved your line. Let the self be the dance floor for our parts. Isn't that yummy, everyone?
Beautiful.
And I had one housekeeping thing for everyone too. That Laura and I have this being recorded so that Laura can put it on the Facebook group for others, but only our 2 images will be shown. And so only our squares will be shown. And so if you're comfortable, I'd like to invite everyone. It's just as we dance and move, it's kind of fun when we can see each other as a community. There seems to be a richness that's added as we can see each other in this collective dance party that we're having. And only if you're comfortable. If not, feel free to leave them off. But there might be value for you to feel that connectedness and to just be with everybody visually as well. And let the dance begin. Back to you, Laura.
Thank you, Sid. Great. So the first track is very much a track of self. So see if we can just get into this a little bit. Okay. So this is an icaro song. It's a healing song from South Americas. Let's start off with imagining, exchanging that breath, bringing in the outer into the inner, and the inner into the outer. So just allow yourself to gently settle Notice if any swaying, any yawning, sighing, head rolling. And I'm going to take you progressively through the 8 C's of self here as they relate to each of the chakra points on the body. Lovely deep breath in. Lovely deep breath in. Shoulders down. Letting yourself be here. And we're going to start all the way down at the bottom. Down at the root chakra. And we bringing in that sense of confidence. Sense of confidence, groundedness. Rich red earth supporting our being. This is the confidence of self. Bringing it all the way down. Letting the hips start to roll, if that feels right. And we're moving up to the sacral. Beautiful orange. This is the sea of creativity, birthing projects, really nourishing. This is the womb space, the hara for men, where all that creativity resides, and we can let that flow with the hips. Taking a breath into here. And we're going to travel up to the solar plexus now, the lovely golden yellow of the sun. This is the sea of courage. Allow your rib cage to really expand when we're taking a breath in. Bringing in the warmth. We're about to be at the solstice point on the 21st. Really inviting the light to come back in. Courage. Now traveling up to the heart. Compassion. Yeah, beautiful green, welcoming abundance and compassion into the heart. This is what self has for us. Infinite compassion. And bringing in clarity to the throat. Clarity in the throat. Maybe rolling the neck if that feels right. Shoulders. And then curiosity in the third eye. Imagine scanning, looking so far away, past all the mountains. Any layers of cloud. Being able to see far away, focusing, taking everything in. And then moving up to the crown, connectedness, connected to everything, everything within, everything without. Connecting. And then finally, allowing yourself to gently rest in calm. The calm that always surrounds us. The calm of self. Bringing it in. letting it land. Really letting that calm spread throughout, all the way down. So this is the dance floor. This is the inner space of self. Effortless, causeless, playful. Just the perfect setting for our parts to flourish. So see if you notice how the inner world is. And hopefully you've been able to tune into these flavors of self, this lovely essence through the 8 C's, the 5 P's. And as I hand over to Sid to invite parts here, just notice if there's anyone knocking on the door of self, any parts that are wanting to be led into this dance floor. Let me play. Let me be witnessed. Let me have the limelight. All is welcome. All is welcome. Thank you. Handing over, Sid.
I love how Laura just concluded with all is welcome, because my dance song today that I am going to share with you is called Be Welcomed Here. And before we go to the song to welcome all of our parts, just going to support everyone with the dance floor that Laura has helped us find, with these qualities of self. So as we're here together, that last quality she mentioned of calm in the air, in the space. How do you know this calm? What's the somatic experience of that? And then, are you aware of the calm? Or are you aware as the calm? Just notice these chakras, these qualities of self that Laura walked us into. What's present here now? It's the connectedness here. Then we know this as our dance floor, to be the space that welcomes our parts, as we're soon going to be welcoming our parts home. How is this the dance floor for your parts, these qualities of self? I'd like to invite you to join me in a little trick that helps us find the dance floor, to know the dance floor, perhaps to be the dance floor, and a trick that can decrease the suffering in our system instantly by 80%, can make it difficult to blend with our parts. So I'd like to invite each of us, just put a thumb in front of you, if you would, just straighten your arm. And as you notice, when your attention is on this thumb, on this one part, on this object, this is how blending can occur when our attention is on one part. In contrast, if you put another thumb in front of you and be aware of both of these, can you see them or be aware of both of them, each of them simultaneously? And what's different in that? Does anything change with where you're aware from? And then slowly invite you to let the arms open as you continue to be aware of the thumbs. Take them to the very peripheral of your view. And then here, are you aware of the two thumbs and of the space in front of you and of the space of this body? Notice that. And where are you aware from? And then if you'll continue with the thumbs going behind you, but wait, Sid, I can't see them anymore. But are you aware of them? Can you be aware of them behind you? And as you're aware of them behind you, notice, are we aware of the space behind us as well? And you can go ahead and drop the thumbs. But as the thumbs are dropped, in your imagination, can you see the thumbs behind you? And notice that there's awareness of the space behind you, beside you, in front of you, and the space of this body. And in this space, can we find these qualities of self? This calmness here, this connectedness. And is there a boundary to this space? This is our dance floor. And the reason this is much, much more than a little 5, 10, 15-minute dance, but this song will be 5 minutes, is if we can find this, if we can find this dance, if the parts can find that self is here, that they're being welcomed home by self, then a really wonderful thing happens. In our life, when our parts arise, they recognize, wait a minute, I'm arising in the same space of that dance floor. I'm arising in that space of this calm, this connectedness, this compassion. And then our parts are never alone, and they're always being welcomed. There's always a connectedness. That's what we're going to play with today. So in a moment, I'm going to start the music. And the invitation and the challenge is what we call simultaneous awareness. To be aware of the space, to be aware of the self, either of it or as it, as this calm, as this connectedness, as this clarity, as this compassion. But can we also be aware of our parts at the same time? And let's just notice what's here now in terms of your parts. What do you notice? Is there an achiever part that's like, okay, I got this. I can see my thumbs behind me. I can do this. And just notice where, whatever part you're noticing, where are you hearing it from? Where's the location, or where are you feeling it or seeing it? Just a couple more words and we'll start. And maybe there's a critic part that's like, Sid's not doing this so well. This doesn't make sense to me. Or maybe the critic's going inside. Gosh, I could not find that quality at the crown chakra that Laura was speaking of. Gosh, I should be able to find that. And if there's a critic in your system, where do you find that? What's the location? So my invitation for all of us as we begin is, can you each be aware of two parts, two or more parts, but at least two parts? Or it might be a skeptic, or an excited part. Gosh, come on, turn the music on. I want to play. Or a vulnerability. This is getting uncomfortable. He's talking for so long. This is going on a long time. So just see, and then now the simultaneous awareness again. And Laura, when I turn the music on, if you'd give me like a thumbs up or thumbs down on the volume, please. Just a moment. And oops, no music yet. Music is coming. It's coming. I have this a different way. So as we're aware of our parts, How's our volume, Laura? So? Now? No?
I can't quite hear it.
Can't
Don't know
quite
if
hear.
anyone else.
Okay. If everyone would stay with me for just a moment, I'm going to try something else again.
Thank you, Sid.
Laura did this so smoothly. And let's get this going. Oh, I know. Nope. We're going to get there. I'm going to try one more thing.
That was good, Sid. We heard it, but it just needed to be a little bit louder.
Yay!
We heard it, so that's good. That's right.
I think we're doing a different song. We're having celebration of our parts. A little louder, Laura?
Tiny bit more.
A little louder. Okay. As we feel this celebration, notice your parts. We're aware of our parts here. And they feel this, the celebration, the sense of welcoming that's here. Our parts. And feel the welcoming of the space. The connectedness as we look around at each other, the sense of connectedness, the openness that's here. How is this for your parts? Could it be that this party is being thrown for your parts? The party for your parts. And they feel the compassion. And when I say for your parts, notice if you have some parts that are like, yes, it's a party, it's a celebration. But other parts that are like, I don't know about this, it's a little scary, or I don't want to dance. You notice that this self, this beingness, that welcomes everyone and everything. So your parts that might feel shy, that might be sitting in the shadows, they are equally welcome just the way they are. Welcome just the way they are. Are your parts alone? Can they feel the connectedness? The connectedness that's here. Are they part of an internal family system? What's that like? Be connected. Are you aware of your parts and also of this that they're arising in? This exquisite dance floor, which is you, which is you, which is self, which is this compassion, this connectedness, this clarity, this creativity that welcomes your parts. You be aware of all of this. Have your parts ever had a party thrown for them? Like a birthday party for your parts. What's that like? Can they receive this? What's it like to have a party thrown for them, to be welcomed? What is that like? This love that's here, in this connectedness. Can they feel the love? They feel the love. Right. Everyone feel included. Back into the silence together. And this, now we go to the fun part that I'll tag my co-host Laura as she opens this up to hear about your experience. What are you finding? What's this like for you? What was this like for your parts? What was it like to know this dance floor, to know this self that Laura invited us into? Thank you, everyone.
Ah, Sid, I loved that. Ah, thank you. Just before we dive into a sharing circle, there's a final little song, final little tune, just to settle, a gentle lullaby. It's a mantra. So see if you can just receive this for a few moments as you settle the parts. And it's a lovely wave. In 5 rhythms, we talk about a wave within a wave within a wave. It's fractal. And every time we witness a part, or every time we bring self to a part, we see another facet of the inner world. It's a never-ending journey. You'll never come. It deepens round and round. So see if you can allow. We started off with the opening of the floor of self, and we welcomed the parts onto that floor, and we're gonna bring it all back down again with a sense of stillness and softness. So see if you can really receive this final tune just for a few moments. Breathing in the knowing of yourself as self. This is what self sings, perpetual lullaby to the parts. A never-ending love song to come back home. Letting the breath soften everything, shine a light of awareness on everything. These parts are never not home, they're always home. Imagine dancing with all the parts. And inviting even the shy parts, self singing a love song, calling out even the shy parts to join the dance floor, to be lullabied. This is a space for every part to shine. And we're just going to have a final round of the mantra. I call out for any shy parts that are still hiding. Come forth now. Letting yourself be soft and gentle, flowing. And let this heart be still. Let this heart be still now. I am that. I am self. I arise from, exist within, am witnessed by self. I am that. So, thank you all for joining Sid and I for this explorative, hopefully playful dance floor for our parts to explore, to be held, to be soothed, to be witnessed, to be danced with, to be welcome on the dance floor, to be in the spotlight, in limelight, to shine, to show their little faces, to be warmed by the light of self, as self rejoices in each and every part. Each part sacred guest on the dance floor of self. This is how precious these parts are to self. And we can go through life with the awareness of this perpetual love song that self sings. It is possible to waltz through life with the awareness of that song. Because self is native. Self is primal. Self is native to the inner landscape of our being. So as this meditation comes to an end, see if you can notice how that's been for you. A little different flavor this week. Different perspective, different lens, another facet of your being. And taking a breath, see if you can transition, let your inner world know that we're going to go into a sharing circle, and everything's by invite here. But Sid and I are certainly very curious to hear how this was for you. So let's open up the dance floor for any parts to share. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Valerie. I know that Valerie, can I share this? Is this a bit naughty? That Valerie goes to ecstatic dances, which is, yeah. Oh, God, I just love that. Look at that body, glorious body, moving with such joy. So if anyone's got anything to share, we would absolutely love to hear what was that like for you.
Hi, my name's Brittany. I can go.
Thank you.
Um, I thought it was really beautiful. Um, it felt really good. At the end, I did really feel a grief part. Um, Dance is such a big part of my life. I was training to dance professionally, and then I got very sick and was in a wheelchair for 13 years. And I'm just now getting out of the wheelchair and dancing again in, gentle ways. Um, so yeah, I felt a grief part there. I have so much love for dance, but also sadness. So that was there. Thank you.
Brittany, thank you for sharing that. Grief is one of my favorites. Grief comes from, or shares its origin from, the word gravity. And grief has that capacity to draw everything down to the hugging the safety of ground. When you see trees growing in very windy places, they grow squat, they grow short, they hug the ground. And many a time on the dance floor at Five Rhythms, at ecstatic dance, grief would be very clear through the dancer's body, and they're often close to the ground, slow movements. And it invites us, grief really invites us to get lower down, closer to the ground, and explore slow movements. And sometimes we can only muster the little finger, or maybe just the toes, or maybe just noticing the little tiny hairs moving. And that's plenty. Thank you, Brittany, for sharing that. So sacred. Thank you. Does anyone else have anything else that feels, that wants to come through, wants to be shared? Oh, thank you, Valerie.
So I have COVID, by the way, so I feel I'm stuffy, but feeling okay. I'm on day 3, and it's just been an incredible week and last few weeks actually for me. And this meditation and time together and has been it was very I loved it, Laura and Sid. I think you did a great job. And it was the music was it was a great addition, and it just moved me so much. And yeah. The dancing thing dance is very important to me as well. And it's a big part of my whole system. And Brittany, I just am so moved and touched and grateful for your vulnerability and openness to your experience. And my job And what I've been trained for and what I do at my job, my work is work as an occupational therapy practitioner. And I have multiple clients who are in wheelchairs. And it's been laid on my heart recently to incorporate dance into my sessions more, even though it doesn't have a lot to do with getting your shirt on or brushing your teeth, but we can move, you know. And I have a very wide range of clients that have different abilities, and what they all have is a connection to me and a connection to each other and a connection to the light. And that's what I bring and want to bring to them. And I bring it in smiles and laughter and music. And each of my clients has their own playlist that I have on my phone, and I have a little portable speaker, and music is huge in my job, even though I'm not a musical therapist, but it's been great. So it's really, this whole thing has inspired me like immensely to bring dance more into my work. So I don't know, I have a lot more to say, but I'm gonna let other people talk. So thank you. So grateful.
Thank you, Valerie. I used to have parts that were attached to performative dance, or maybe people-pleasing parts that wanted to look pretty, the placement of the hands, the toes, the fingertips just needed to be right. And what's so lovely about practices like 5 rhythms or ecstatic dance is that all of that kind of goes out of the window a little bit, because there's no steps to learn, there's no order to follow, there's just you and the dance floor and whatever's moving through. And so long as you have a body, you can dance. Doesn't matter how that body is, how still it appears. There's a dance. If you can breathe, you can dance. And self creates such imaginative ways for these parts to dance and express. Boy, I've seen everything. You know, over the past 10 years, I've seen every flavor of dance there is. And just as you never step in the same river twice, you never quite do the same dance twice. Again, going back to that sense of fractal, round and round we go, exploring different facets of ourselves, deeper and deeper in. Really magical. That's enough from me. Anyone else want to share anything? Yola, hello.
Yeah, Yolanta, I'll try and share. So dance is also very important to me. I think kind of if I see beauty also, my body wants to spin and dance as a response to it. Sometimes when I'm walking and see the hills, and so even in a city, and I am kind of almost overwhelmed by the sense of beauty. And then I kind of look around, if nobody's watching, then I kind of start spinning. And sometimes in the morning, when it's still dark, probably I have far-reaching views, and sort of I feel like movement helps me. And then again, that beauty and connection, almost, yeah, sort of, it's very, yeah, some kind of oneness is in that. And in terms of today, it was very beautiful. All these music pieces, so different, and more sort of like celebratory part for me was sort of, yeah, it kind of felt more for my body. I couldn't be aware so much of my parts when I was moving more fast. And then the quieter tunes, then I could be more aware of what was going on inside. Sort of, and at first I found that, yeah, I'm a bit nervous or so, and I felt, oh, that's not too bad. And I'm not sure if it's just some brave part was trying to reassure me, but no, I kind of felt gratitude, or all these sort of, yeah, not scary, beautiful emotions, and I saw those parts, and I felt I can, again, the space is just so precious and so beautiful, and I felt that those sort of like a lot of maybe those more anxious parts didn't even need to come out, just because so warm this environment has been, or is to me. And then what I also found, when I sort of allowed my parts to dance more than my sort of body, that there's kind of almost like a group of parts that are interconnected and belong together. Some sort of, I just had like 2 weeks ago had COVID, so still not fully recovered, and sort of I have a bit of musculoskeletal issues, and I feel like I'm always sort of living or dealing with some kind of I don't know, sort of low level chronic pain. And then then there are lots of parts that kind of attach to that, or that is always around. And so my parts, like one that is sort of sense of duty and commitment, one, or you can't commit because, you may be too tired, or they were just showing up in that dance floor tonight for me. So yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for bringing the notion of pain, body pain. And the invitation on the dance floor is, how would pain dance if it could move? What's the energetic signature of pain? And you might be surprised that pain that comes from different parts of the body moves in different ways. Imagine how might dental pain move versus pain in your toe. Different energetic signature. Or how would overall pain, chronic pain, low level pain in the body move? They all have different flavors. And the invitation of the dance floor of self is to explore and acutely attune to pain. Because pain isn't just pain, it has something for us to notice. Yeah. What's the message of this pain? And that can be very easily and softly explored through gentle movement of the body. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Does anyone else feel like sharing anything else? We've got about 20 minutes, something like that.
Can I say some couple other things?
Yes, please.
So for me, dance is something that, like I said, is so deep in me. I danced as a very young girl out in public with my grandpa at concerts and in Detroit, Michigan. And dance was just something that I did a lot. You know what I did a lot of? I did a lot of dancing in front of the mirror because I was an only child and it was just me and my mom, and she was off doing her thing and I was just by myself, and I had this big mirror and I used to dance, and I loved music. Oh my gosh, my dad was a musician. So dance was something that just was, and I had a lot of trauma in childhood as well. So this dance was movement, was so always made me smile, and it kept, I think that was a big part, or maybe just of keeping my light bright, you know. Lots of dance, and that continued into my teenage years and young adult years. I went to the clubs and did a lot of dancing. And then, you know, when I had my babies and children, and as they grew, we had dance parties at the house, you know, and oh my gosh, it's just really, and now I'm doing this ecstatic dance, and it's a journey for me because I didn't even know what to expect. But I am a dancer. I mean, when I go to concerts, I am like the first person. I would be fine being the only one dancing. And I don't like to be the only one dancing because I really don't like the spotlight to be on me. I want to share it with everybody. I want to just be like, come on, people, let's go. That's why I'm up there to show them you can do it too. But sometimes I'm still the only one. And the band's like, oh, well, we thank you, you know, and I'm like, I'm loving it. So I just do say two things specifically. That song, Dancing in the Moonlight. Everybody's dancing in the moon. Let's see, you can't dance and stay uptight. It's supernatural delight. Supernatural delight. You can't dance and stay uptight, you know. I've heard it said that you can't dance and really be like you're more in self, like you're more in spirit, you know, when you're dancing. And then when you share that with other people, it's like this community connection, you know. And it is the same with laughter, I think. Very similar. Right, Brian? I know that guy, Brian, by the way. He's hiding, but I know him. And I invited him. Real quick, the other thing is I went to an interplay event, my first interplay event. If anyone gets a chance, my other friend Alden, who had to leave earlier, told me about it, and I found one, and it was amazing, magical. I went last weekend, I think. And one thing that they did, they do all these cool little games. And one thing that they incorporate like all these different things, movement and connection and talking and sound, all sorts of things. And one thing that they did a few times was make your body into a shape. And so you can just and you hold it, and you kind of hold that shape, you kind of recognize it, and then make your body into another shape. So that was pretty cool to be something I had never done before. And that's like this, I don't know. So that's it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for that, Valerie. And you bring a brilliant point. If we have implicit memories, the certainty is that the body knows, and the body keeps the score. It's explicit. It's very much in the body. And so some of the practices that we're invited to do as part of this kind of therapeutic dance is we might ask, show me through your body how your family responded to rage, or show me through your body how your family responded to you being sad. And you may not have an explicit memory, and yet the body starts to move. And then you can then say, okay, at a point where it feels just the most heightened, freeze and pause, and just embody that part. And so this is very nuanced, very detailed work. But if we ever feel stuck, and this is a really useful tip for IFS therapy, if we ever get stuck with a part, invite the part to show you how it would move. And you may find that then it provides a deeper trailhead. You can then follow the rhythm of that part, perhaps in a different way. So definitely inviting the body to express is a really fantastic therapeutic tool. Thank you for that, Valerie. Yeah. Anyone else?
How about Sid? I need to just give Sid a shout out. I mean, come on, everything you say is awesome. I'm ready and waiting to hear what's on your mind. Or body. Come on, Sid. You're holding back.
Thank you, Valerie. Okay, here I am. And I just was loving what Laura was just sharing about how our body expresses with parts when there's, I think of, it was Belinda's the sense of the grief. Sometimes it just gets stuck, or sometimes polarities get stuck, right? And the idea of letting a part move in its expression, because we have the direct access in IFS of letting a part speak, but the alternative direct access of letting it move. And for me, in the way I contextualize this, it's really like the way we did the dance party, letting the part move while it's being held by this beingness, by this dance floor, by this love, by this welcoming. It's such a sweet thing, which, I mean, Lars done so much of this in dance itself, but like being witnessed. And it's like the part of us gets to move, and while it's moving, it's being witnessed by this self, by this welcoming, by this awareness. And that might sound conceptual, but then if we ask ourselves right now, am I aware? Notice there's awareness here, right? There's awareness of the space around you. There's awareness of hearing this voice. There's awareness. And so as your parts are moving and expressing whatever is happening inside of them, whatever contraction or celebration or grief or pain, that they are being seen. They're not alone. The self is here. And I love this because we're used to thinking about, Valerie, you open the door. Put us down a little bit more. Um, we're used to, like, when we have a constraint, when we have pain, we're used to looking outside of ourselves, right? To find a way to change the state through experience or through others or through situations or substances, right? And then, but there's this sense of that it can be found right here, for example, in this movement, in letting a part express and being seen, not by someone else, even though that's nice and that can be added, but being seen by you, by this awareness, by this love that we are, this welcoming. And okay, I'm gonna tag Laura now because I'm curious where she goes with this and what we're opening up. Thank you, Valerie.
Oh, you said it perfectly, Sid. I have nothing else to add. It's beautiful. Beautifully, beautifully shared. So a couple of minutes, any shy parts, call out to anyone who hasn't shared and wants to share. Yeah.
Can I say like a 30-second little thing? Oh, this is just a community thing, we're all one thing. So amazing things have been happening in my life this week. Amazing, amazing things. And my sister-in-law just sent me a thing. She tried to take her board exam to be a nurse. I think this was her 7th time. And she struggles with a lot of things. She was adopted at age 5 from a foreign country, and she's really awesome. And she passed her exams last week, her board exam, and she went for an interview yesterday, and she told me she got the job. So her name's Britt, if you want to celebrate with her, and I'll let her know that you guys are celebrating with her. It's really a moving thing. So thanks for sharing it with me.
For me, Valerie, you just shared just this beautiful gift with us. The invitation to celebrate your sister-in-law. There was you. There was this gift of this love that was there, that was of you, and that like in my system, there's not a separateness. There's a shared being, this love that you're being. It just resonates like a tuning fork in my system with love, and it was the delightful celebration. Thank you.
This feels like a beautiful place to, yeah. Oh, Pamela, I love to see your little ones, creative ones, beautiful ones, loved ones. Pamela, do you have anything else to share, or does it feel?
I've been experimenting lately with just he wants to show off his snuggling his bunny. Is that what you're doing? No? Okay, what are you doing?
I just want to snuggle with my bunny.
You just want to snuggle with your bunny, okay.
Because it's so soft.
Because it's so soft. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I've been experimenting with just oh, you want to see some more stuffed animals? Look at that.
I still want to snuggle with it.
Okay. Yeah, so when parts come up, I just like feel into I don't interrogate them. I just feel into the very center of them. And that's been fruitful for me lately. Let them express whatever they want to express, bloom all the way, you know. So that's what I've been experimenting with lately. And I think the dance in some cases can help because it can kind of like, you know, shake some things loose. And it's just joyful, and joy is a good thing to have around. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. So thank you all.
So, hello, sweetheart. Beautiful, beautiful. So just a final song for you to enjoy and to tune into. And It's a Nessie Gomez one. It's one of my favorite songs. I'll turn it up a little bit.
No more dark.
We are all related in love. Self as a wave, transpersonal, relating us, co-relating us in love, always in love. That's the truth of our being, shared being. So, thank you all so much. Thank you, Brother Sid.